Hello, everybody, and welcome to Secular Ultra Quran, your one-stop shop for everything secular, ultra, and Quran. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering Surah 2, verses 146 through 177. Killed it.
It's gonna be great.
It should be. Although the one thing that isn't great was for some reason we couldn't, Google wasn't working for us. So I couldn't change the background. But you know, whatever it is now, it's fine.
This is the correct background now.
It was supposed to be the thumbnail, but can't be.
It can't be.
Yeah, unfortunately,
we have failed to deliver on a very basic thing.
Yeah, very basic. Yeah, like an actual fucking background. So. Is a bit of a story time. I told you this. Actually, I told both of you this beforehand. So, and I posted in the Discord earlier that there was a whole bunch of pro-life protesters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were, very loud and annoying, and they had all the aborted fetus pictures, right? The classics. And I was really considering going up to them and being like, hey, why do you hate God? Why do you keep misinterpreting his word? Shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. To antagonize in a way that only I know how to antagonize.
Right.
I was going to bring up, why are you misquoting, this part of the Bible or stuff like that? That was going to be fun.
You could also bring up the bitter water.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to bring up the bitter water. I was going to bring up the Midianites, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Midianites. So, that was going to be my main line, but I talked to a friend who's a kind of a leader in a women's rights group. Mm-hmm. So she told me just not to engage with them because that's what they want. They want people to engage with them. They want to get pictures of them talking to people where it looks like they're preaching and that they're doing great and stuff. Because they just don't contextualize anything because they're a bunch of fucking liars. So that was the advice, not to engage. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what, fine, whatever. It's probably a better idea if I don't, because if I did, I'd be stuck there all fucking day.
Yes, but
something better happened.
Yes.
So on the same day, I don't think this was actually planned out. On the same day, there was also a pro-Palestine protest. Early today, on one side of the campus was the pro-life protesters, and on the other side of the campus was the pro-Palestine protesters. And when the pro-Palestine protesters heard about the pro-life protesters, they migrated to that part of the campus, and there were so many of them, and they were so loud. And once they got there, everyone that these pro-lifers were talking to joined the pro-Palestine protest, and they just drowned out, and they drowned out the pro-lifers, and essentially turned themselves into the alpha protest. Mm-hmm. And then the pro-lifers got really sad, and they left. That's how you do it. You silence them by being so fucking loud that they can do nothing. They don't exist. They have been amalgamated into the larger network of protests.
That is one way to do it. Yes.
So I felt like that was a very good way to, when I heard about that, because I was actually in class when it happened, but heard about it through a few friends. That's great. I was like, I sent that story immediately to my friend who I was talking to about this beforehand, and she was like, "That's a great way to get rid of those people. Mm-hmm. They are fucking annoying as shit, and they just left because they weren't making enough noise. Now someone else is making more noise." And I think that's great.
Indeed. I recall many campus protests back in the day.
Yeah.
Back when I was a young whippersnapper.
And did you take part in some of these?
I did skip some classes sometimes.
Yeah. Were they? Did they happen to include Brother Jed?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh man, he's dead now.
He is. He is dead now.
Yeah, but Sister Cindy's still around. and I think she's still doing her thing. So for those of you who aren't in the know, Brother Jed is like the archetypal street preacher.
Yeah, he is absolutely insane. He has a Wikipedia page, and he has this this fucking staff, like, and it's all decked out. Like, it's
got
a pretty
big
cool
cross
looking
on
staff.
top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he and his wife and I guess their congregation go around preaching, but their preaching isn't so much talking about the Bible or Jesus or anything. It's just screaming at people that they're going to go to hell for various reasons.
Right, yeah.
Many of which are completely abiblical.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They're kind of like Westboro Baptists, but I don't think they're as crazy.
they have wacky presentations.
They do.
Were you there?
I would say the
year?
Westboro Baptists are more vile than these guys are, but these guys are pretty bad too.
Spider.
Oh, whatever.
Were you there that year when Sister Cindy had it was like a bunch of coat hangers put together with like tampons
Yeah, I
with
was there
fake
for
blood
that.
on
I
them?
wasn't there for it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it was like this weird, I don't know,
Macabre.
talisman of
Talisman, yeah, sure.
pro-life. It was wild. Man.
They really do go kind of crazy. Like, they're very much of like the showmanship side of it. And that was the reason when I first encountered them that I went up there and I started preaching about the Great Cacaw.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's when I went right next to Brother Jed, and I was like, you guys should all follow the real religion, the religion of the Great Cacaw. And he birthed us from an egg which he laid, and that was the beginning of the universe. And then I said, well, it was actually the Big Bang. We were observing the egg hatching, and then I was like, look, my belief is now scientifically accurate. So
yeah,
Don, you win. Good job.
the
Right,
Great Cacaw is old school. Not many people will know about it. It's a very ancient lore.
Yeah, very ancient lore.
Yeah, lost civilizations.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of ancient lore, let's read the Quran.
Yeah, I have various Qurans. I have the Penguin Classics Quran, the Study Quran, and the Quran from the Quran Project.
We also have a thematic commentary on the Quran and the Holy Quran Arabic text translation and commentary from Abdullah Yusuf Ali. We have the Quran and the Bible from Gabriel Said Reynolds. And we also have the Holy Quran with English translation and commentary from Maulana Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
That's right, Muhammad Ali.
And what do you think we're going to talk about today, Lawrence?
I think we're going to talk about the...
Rest of Surah 2?
Well, no, not even. But we are going to talk about some punishment for disbelievers. So let's learn about that.
We're about halfway through Surah 2.
Okay.
Anyways, let's start with verse 146.
Yep.
Those unto whom we have given the book recognize it as they recognize their children, but a group of them knowingly conceal the truth.
It says they recognize it just as they recognize their sons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And their children, but yes.
See, so this translation, finish the verse.
But a group of them knowingly conceal the truth. That's where 146 ends.
So these translations go with we have given those whom we have given the book recognize him as they recognize their sons.
Some think that recognize it means recognize him, referring to the prophet, who is known not only through the prophecies in the Bible,
Oh, right. Yeah, they like to say that. You know, I heard someone say that, you know what John the Baptist says, that someone greater will come?
Yeah.
And he's talking about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Because they haven't read the Bible, I've heard Muslim apologists say, well, that part's talking about, that part was actually said by Jesus. And that, right, yeah. It's like, no, that was John the Baptist. That was a different person who said that.
Yes.
So they pretend that it was actually by that it was said by Jesus, and Jesus was talking about Muhammad.
That's absurd.
It is.
But also, according to the Islamic view, through his presence, his character, the signs he brought, and the truth of his message, thus recognizing the truth of the Kaaba as the Qibla would be dependent upon the recognition of the truthfulness of the Prophet, rather than upon the status of the Kaaba itself, since Jerusalem was the legitimate Qibla for a time.
Yeah, there's the people of the book should have known. This one actually kind of goes off of it because they do say that the people of the book know this as they know their own sons.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I could totally. It is interesting, like the confusion there between like him and it. I wonder if that's some grammar issue or if what that is.
Or
it must
translating it figuratively because that's like the theological interpretation of the message of the verse.
Maybe. Although if you're talking about the like what you should and shouldn't do, then I could just talking about the book or the message is fine, right? Because that's what they call like the perfect faith, the message. So the people of the book should have known all of this as well as, quote, they know their own sons, as their past traditions and teaching should have made them receptive of the new message. So yeah, whatever this, the message is what we're talking about. And then they say that they, but some of them conceal the truth, which they themselves know. So they are lying about things.
Indeed.
About the message. For some reason, they know the truth, but still want to piss off God.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason, they want to do that.
The truth is from thy Lord, so be thou not among the doubters. Everyone has a direction toward which he turns.
Oh, I also like how it says the reader is being addressed here.
Oh.
Well, sorry.
Yes. Everyone has a direction toward which he turns. So vie with one another in good deeds. Wheresoever you are, God will bring you all together. Truly, God is powerful over all things. Well, that's a big promise. Wherever you are, God will bring you all together.
Well, I mean, they kind of do that in their practices, at least, right?
It's a reference to the Qibla.
Yeah.
So, but that's not like God being powerful over all things. That's people following a custom, common.
Right. Yeah. So they're like, oh, we're brought together.
Yeah.
Or they were drawn together.
Mm-hmm.
I got that reference.
Good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, they don't make stuff like that anymore.
You're right. They don't.
And whensoever thou goest out, turn thy face toward the sacred mosque. Indeed, it is the truth from thy Lord, and God is not heedless of what you do. So this message has popped up several times throughout Surah 2.
Yeah, about facing the mosque.
Not just that. That God is not heedless of what you do.
Oh, sure.
Has been the end of a verse several times.
Oh, that. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. And whensoever thou goest out, turn thy face toward the sacred mosque, and wheresoever you may be, turn your faces toward it, so that the people may have no argument against you, not even those among them who do wrong. Fear them not, but fear me, and so that I may complete my blessing upon you, and that haply you may be guided. One thing that I'll point out, that these two verses, 149 and 150, start with the same phrase. Whensoever thou goest out, turn thy face toward the sacred mosque. I think that opens the opportunity for scribal error. And
You're right, yeah.
I would be interested in seeing the manuscript history if it were available.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they got rid of all that.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, even as we sent among you a messenger from among you, who recites our signs to you and purifies you and teaches you the book and wisdom and teaches you what you knew not. So here, pretty straightforward. The verse apparently describes the fulfillment of the prayer of Abraham for a messenger to be sent to his progeny in verse 129.
Ah, okay, sure.
Now, let me look back.
So this
Actually,
was...
You hop back to verse 129 in one of your Qurans.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. Although I did want to say that it also has... It uses a lot of biblical language here, and I don't know if that's just like in translation or not, but it has like a lot of kind of callbacks. So we have here like you read 151, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A similar favor have ye already received, in that we have sent among you an apostle of your own, rehearsing to you our signs, and sanctifying you and instructing you in scripture and wisdom and in new knowledge. A lot of those phrases, I believe we've seen those in, especially like when it comes to our signs, right? That was one of the ways that you will know that there is like, that there's something, what's the right word I want to put on it? Something holy among us, as in like the, when prophets will like, what will they say? They will perform signs and, I forget the other word for it. But like that will be like one of the telltale things. So yeah, signs and wonders. There you go. Like that'll be one of the telltale things. But anyways, on to 129. Literally, like the next page here.
Yes.
Our Lord raise amongst them an apostle from among them, who will recite to them your signs and teach them the book and wisdom and purify them. Indeed, you are the Almighty, the All-Wise.
Yeah, so this is like, it's a different ordering. It says, who recites our signs to you and purifies you and teaches you the book and wisdom and teaches you what you knew not. But it's the same essential elements. So it appears to be an internal reference.
There does seem to be a bit more here, at least on 150, I should say. Well, actually, you know what? Looking at it, it's probably not even important to us.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more of like the spiritual meaning, and I'm like, you know what? I don't actually care about that.
Oh.
Subject to interpretation.
Yeah.
So remember me, and I shall remember you. Give thanks unto me, and disbelieve not in me. I guess this is now Yahweh or Allah speaking.
Sure, yeah.
In the first person. It's not
Well-
Yahweh. It's a different tradition, actually, right?
Well, I mean, no, it's the same tradition.
But it's
But-
influenced by a completely different mythological background to their particular region.
Well, it's
At least
I
in
wouldn't-
the naming convention.
yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't say for the naming convention, yes. But no, they still very much do identify with obviously the God of Abraham.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a different Abraham. Unrelated.
Oh,
very
oh.
circumstantially, very, very much similar.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sure.
It's
a
actually
different- wow.
Ibrahim.
Oh, right. Oh, man, how could we be so stupid? And then
Well, a
the
lot of
Jesus
guys
guy was
named
somebody
Abraham
else too.
Who did similar things. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Indubitably.
Yeah.
So, yes.
There's been a lot of times where in this book already, like, we see the confirmation of the beliefs
Mhm.
of specifically the Jews, right?
Mhm.
Referencing their prophets and saying that, oh, well, look at all these times that they said like that a prophet will come up. so they're always kind of looking forward, right? But the New Testament, of course, answers that with Jesus. And these guys are like, oh yeah, he was just another one of those too. They were really talking about Muhammad. But when it says that Muhammad and the Quran confirm their scriptures, we've covered this before. It's not exactly clear what they're talking about. Like, are they talking? They're confirming the message, but it seems that the message is only the stuff that they agree with, and not the stuff that they don't.
Well, yeah, it's the stuff that they say is
uncorrupted.
that isn't in it actually.
For quite a bit of it, sure.
Yeah.
Or some of this, yeah. It's very clear that this was written by people that didn't have access to the works.
It's
already.
unfortunate when you talk to believers, because believers don't take like a literary approach to looking at their religious literature very often. Like some of them do. The ones that are like more into theology or more into history might do it a little more. But typically people are not reading this and trying to suss out like, oh, where's this pseudepigraphal element coming from? Like, where's this particular like Gnostic idea?
Although that's something I do all the time.
Right, of course, because that's what our entire show is about.
Right? Yeah. And the thing is, it looks like Reynolds does that a lot as well too. So
Yeah.
very much appreciative.
Maybe
of that.
we should read more of his stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's good. But you're the one reading him.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's some commentary on verse 152. It's understood by some that the beginning of this previous verse sets up the beginning of this one, meaning God sent you a messenger, so remember him. A saying attributed to many early commentators states, God remembers whosoever remembers him, and increases whoever is grateful to him, and punishes whoever disbelieves in him. According to some interpretations, one remembers God through praising him or through acts of obedience, and God then remembers one through forgiveness. A famous hadith Qudsi, a sacred hadith in which God is quoted but which is not part of the Quran, states, God Most High says, I am as my servant deems me to be. I am with him when he remembers me. Whosoever remembers me within himself, I shall remember him in myself. Whosoever remembers me in company, I shall remember him in company better than them. Should he approach me by a hand, I shall approach him by a cubit. And should he approach me by a cubit, I shall approach him by a fathom. Should he come to me walking, I shall go to him running.
This is a hadith, you said?
Yeah.
So these are supposed to be the words of Muhammad, right?
No, this is apparently a sacred hadith that is attributed directly to God.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Missed that one. All right.
This verse is one of the Quranic foundations for the spiritual practice of the methodical remembrance of God, which is the central practice of Sufism, alluding to the reciprocity of remembering God and being remembered by him.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was the whole thing about Sufism.
You know,
Although,
I have a book on the shelf over there of some Sufi writings.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you should look at them. They're interesting. There's a lot of, like, almost non-dualism, right? Almost like Brahman type stuff that pops up in some of it. It's very interesting.
Although the remembering portion of this, it did remind me of all the times that God forgot his people and then he remembered them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what he said.
I have people to deal
It's like,
with.
oh, shit.
I'll be right back, guys.
They've been
I
dying
got
for
these.
a while now,
Yeah.
haven't they?
Oof.
Yeah,
Yep.
damn.
Pretty negligent.
Yeah.
O you who believed, seek help in patience and prayer. Truly God is with the patient. And say not of those who are slain in the way of God, they are dead. Nay, they are alive but you are unaware.
So, yeah, and speak out not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Very interesting verse there. The sacrifice of life, which must be undertaken in the cause of truth, is hinted at in this passage. Okay, so is this like well, this whole passage, it says here that there's going to be a lot of mystic doctrines about unity, it seems. Or sorry, no, we're not there yet. Never mind. Oh, sorry, no, we are. Yeah, from here on to 167, there's a great deal of mystic doctrine that it is linked with the institution of the Qibla, shows that the Qibla is itself connected with a great many root ideas of the mystical interpretation of unity. So we're probably looking in that realm of dualism and monism. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they go on to say here, where was I? Right. So the sacrifice of life, which must be undertaken in the cause of truth, is hinted at in this passage. The words, I'm going to butcher this, but, sorry in advance. The words, fi sabil Allah, frequently occurring in the Quran, rendered literally in the way of Allah or in the cause of Allah, signify the cause of truth. Okay. So we're talking about martyrdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it is, and my commentary also points out that it's about martyrdom.
Yeah.
It's those who are slain in the way of God.
Right, yeah. That could have meant a couple things in English, right?
Yeah. But
they're alive.
But you're unaware.
Right, yeah. They're alive on a different...
So they're alive in some sense, but like you can't sense them. There's no evidence of their existence to you.
Well, yeah. Because I think that's what the book of life is, right? It's like the people who will survive afterwards.
Yeah, but it could also be some commentators describe a state after death, but before the day of resurrection. That is also described in other ahadith as a period when human beings will be afflicted or blessed while their bodies are in the grave before they are bodily resurrected.
Yeah, so they still take up that bodily resurrection. But the standard Quranic teaching of the afterlife is that humans go to heaven or hell only when their souls are again joined to the bodies on the day of resurrection. However, the martyrs are here promised the special favor of enjoying heaven right away. So he's interpreting this as heaven right away. Muslim scholars accordingly wondered how the martyrs might exist in heaven without having been joined to their resurrected bodies. Tafsir al-Jalain offers one answer. Quote, their spirits are, according to a hadith, contained in green birds that take wing freely wherever they wish in paradise.
Isn't that nice?
I suppose.
You get to be with those 72 virgins, but what do you get to do with them? You're a green bird.
You're a bird, and I hear you're a dinosaur.
Kinda.
Yeah, so
Probably,
you're a descendant of dinosaurs, so that's pretty cool, right?
Not specifically. Not when you... I don't know. I don't think that was the point of their...
Martyrs don't get their corpses cleansed. They look like they go to the ER because of this verse. Okay.
Oof. Well, the thing is that this is a very loose verse. Like, you could interpret this in many ways, right? Don't say they're dead. They're alive, but you're unaware. That's all that it says. It's not saying, like, there's this distinct afterlife that occurs. Like, that's stretching it a lot, right?
Sure, yeah. So is this, that reminds me of kind of how, a little bit, kind of how saints are made in many cases in Catholicism.
Oh, yeah.
If there is a body that does not decay over, a period of time where it definitely should have decayed, they're going to go like, wow, this person must have been holy. We must canonize them as a saint.
Wow.
That has happened many times. Because of stuff like that, I think there are like over like 1,000 saints canonized now.
Yeah, including the
there are
patron saint
more
of like
saints.
arsenic, because he ate a bunch of arsenic, so nothing ate him after he died.
Yeah, there's more saints canonized every year.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I'm kidding about that arsenic one.
There was a saint of esports recently.
Oh Jesus!
Oh dear God. This is okay. All right. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, there are more than 10,000 saints.
Yeah.
Incredible.
This is why I said if I ever made that dumb series, it would never end. It would just be infinite, longer than Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Because by the time I'd be done, there'd be more.
Yeah, that's true. You'd have to make many a year actually to keep up.
I wonder how the what are they called? Jehovah's Witnesses feel about that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
10,000 spots already filled.
Right.
Wow.
I swear their interpretation is so fucking dumb.
Anyways, and we will indeed test you with something of fear and hunger, and loss of wealth, souls, and fruits, and give glad tidings to the patient. Those who, when affliction befalls them, say, truly, we are God's, and unto him we return.
Oh, but also...
Souls here refers to friends, relatives, loved ones. Fruits can refer to food or crops, but also to children, who are the fruit.
Yeah, the fruit of the womb and fruit of your seed, which is all just very weird ways we talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Traditionally, these words, truly we are God's and unto him we return, are recited by most Muslims at the moment of learning of another's death. It is connected with the loss of souls mentioned in the previous verse.
Although this stuff on martyrdom that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Remember how in the Apocalypse of Paul? Remember how there were those weird martyrdom stories at the end?
Yes.
Yeah, really weird, right?
It started to become a thing, and maybe that is a bit of an influence coming in here.
Yeah, because it seems like there were a lot of these stories. So there was the Didascalia, for example.
If we think about martyrdom stories, they really start happening around the turn of the millennium, right? Like you have...
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, in
like
the
roundabout.
Christian period, yeah.
Not just the Christian, but also the Maccabean revolt is not that.
Oh,
far
right.
away.
Yeah. Because you get to talking about the woman and her 7 sons, right?
Yeah, and I think from there we start getting a lot of different martyr stories.
Yeah, that's true. We do.
Yeah.
Apparently there's also a treaty on the martyrs of Mar Isai from the late 6th century. The latter text also insists, much like the Quran, that the martyrs are living. That's interesting. Okay.
All right. They are those upon whom come the blessings from their Lord and compassion, and they are those who are rightly guided. Truly, Safa and Marwa are among the rituals of God, so whoever performs the Hajj to the house or makes the Umrah, there is no blame on him in going to and fro between them, and whoever volunteers good, truly God is thankful knowing. So what are these terms?
So the Safa and the Marwa are 2 mountains near Mecca. They were the scene of Hagar's running to and fro in quest of water when left alone with Ishmael in the wilderness. These 2 mountains now serve as 2 monuments of the reward which patience brought. And it is a memorial to Hagar's patience that they are now gone round by the pilgrims. Okay.
Even though
it's part of the Hajj, yeah.
Even though this was the action of Hagar, Muslims consider it part of the rituals of the pilgrimage because it originated with Abraham, who built the Kaaba with Ishmael after the latter had become an adult, and the practice was continued by Muhammad, according to their tradition.
Okay.
Commentators point out that some of the companions were reluctant to perform the ritual of going back and forth between Safa and Marwa, fearing that it was a holdover from the days of ignorance and hence an idolatrous practice. This concern may have originated in a local legend that two people fornicated inside the Kaaba and were turned to stone.
Oh, okay. More turned to stone, except this time it's from sex.
They were then placed near the Kaaba as a warning, and over time the stones slowly grew into two hills.
Wow. Okay. that totally happened.
Yep. Others mention the verse may have been in response to other companions who thought the Kaaba was the only object around which such motions, such as running to and fro and circumambulation, should be made. The commentators point out that this verse could be understood to have addressed both questions.
Right.
Yep. Truly, those who conceal what we have sent down of clear proofs and guidance, after we made it clear to mankind in the book, are those who are cursed by God and cursed by the cursors. The cursors.
Yeah, so it says here, let's see, we revealed after we have made it clear in the book for men, these it is who Allah curses, and those who curse them too.
Yeah, some say the cursors in the verse are beasts of the earth, while others mention that they're angels and the believers, such as in verse 161. Others mention the possibility that the denizens of hell who blame them for their own state will also curse them.
Okay. So that was, 159, because it's people who conceal that truth, right? So we have the idea before that they were concealing the truth, but now they're explicitly said to be under, I guess it would be under Allah's curse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these, let's see here. Okay, so there's not much more from Reynolds on it. And there's also not much in this. I mean, other than cursors, I mean, we have cursors throughout all sorts of traditions. We've read a whole bunch of them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he cursed. That was very impressive cursing.
Man, that's the line I've used twice today.
Yeah, very good line. Fuck is a very good word.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be surprised about it, too. Word. So, it's a great starter.
Mm-hmm. We got demonetized.
Right? No.
Whatever.
I don't think that's
it has to be in the first, it has to be in like the first, what is it, 7-10 seconds or something?
15 seconds.
Okay, I think we're fine.
I think we'll find a way to make it happen.
I mean, we could just start off a video like that.
Yeah, we could.
We shouldn't.
Nah, haven't yet.
No.
It's a bad practice.
Save such as repent and make amends and make clear, they are those unto whom I relent. And I am the relenting, the merciful. Indeed, those who disbelieve and die disbelievers, upon them shall be the curse of God, the angels, and mankind all together.
Wow.
The curse is commonly understood to mean being distanced from God and driven away from his mercy.
I mean, that's how a lot of people interpret hell to be. They're like, "Oh my God, you're away from God," and it's like, well, what kind of existence am I living? Like, what does it mean to exist?
But we could also assume
not that rabbit hole.
We could also assume that Muhammad is an intelligent commentator on the biblical tradition who's referencing the Deuteronomistic curse.
Right, yeah. And the Deuteronomistic curse is one of destruction here on earth.
Yeah, destruction on earth.
Yeah, like Deuteronomy.
I guess wouldn't refer to those who die as disbelievers, right? Because it implies that their curse is post-mortem.
Oh, yeah, true. So this would be, they're describing this as, distance from God and not quite a hellfire, which is interesting. So it seems like okay, it's not even there yet. Yeah.
Al-Karubi argues that the Prophet made the limits of cursing clear when he forbade the cursing or abusing of a person who was being legally punished or one who had sincerely repented, which is to say that a curse is leveled only against someone who is in a state deserving of that curse, and one does not heap insult onto injury by cursing a dead man or one who is condemned to die.
It seems like this curse is reserved for the people who know the truth but conceal it. So Jews and Christians, the ones who receive the message before.
It says those who disbelieve.
No. But then even before in 159.
Yeah, before in 159, it refers to those who received the message and still rejected it after having accepted the book, right? Because they received the book and they accepted that message, and that confirms that this message was accurate.
Oh, okay.
Right. But
either way, yeah, those guys get the curse, except for the ones that repent.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people who reject it entirely.
But,
so that's us.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I guess we're screwed.
Yep. Haven't heard that one before.
Your God is one. Oh, yep. Hold on. Therein they shall abide. The punishment shall not be lightened for them, nor shall they be granted respite.
Yeah, interesting. So we have whatever the nature of this curse is, you can somehow exist within it. It's not clear from the text what the nature of the curse is.
No, it is
we,
not.
we have the commentaries, these theological commentaries, saying that it's distance from God.
Yes.
But what is it actually?
What is it actually?
It might be distance from God, but it could be something else entirely. Oh, look at that on the next page. It actually does include Deuteronomy 28, like with all the crazy curses. Yeah.
But it couldn't possibly apply to someone post-mortem because everything in the Deuteronomistic curse was very earthly.
Yeah. But again, he didn't have a physical copy.
No, he didn't.
So maybe that could have been one of the things that he forgot or flubbed.
Or it could be like a figurative reference just to cursing in general.
True.
Like a bad thing.
Or it could be their spirit that gets cursed.
I've got an interesting verse for you here. And afterwards, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Sounds good.
So, here's 163. Your God is one God. There is no God but He, the compassionate, the merciful. So I've got some commentary here that's actually interesting. This is one of the most often recited verses of the Quran.
Yeah.
In all three instances in this verse, God renders Ilah, the general noun for God.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Rather than Allah, which is the supreme personal name of God in Arabic. God is one, Wahid, which includes the sense of being unique, not made up of parts, without, equal, or like.
That is very interesting because now we're wondering about why is there the proper name versus the generic title. So when it comes to, they're saying your God here, so they are acknowledging the existence or the fact that other people believe in gods. But it is interesting that this one is
right.
Yeah, he is one God. It is just interesting that they are using the generic term.
Right, and they capitalized it in the English translation.
Right, so you would never know.
Yeah, I don't know if they do in yours.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so you wouldn't know unless you looked at the commentary that it's a completely different term that's used. Anyways, I'm going to hand it off to you for verse 164.
Sounds good. 164. You know what? I'll read from this one. I feel like this one's just better. Well, actually, Reynolds is just better. I'm gonna read from Reynolds. Why aren't I reading from Reynolds? Indeed, in the creation of the of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of the night and day, and the ships that sail at sea with profit to men, and the water that God sends down from the sky, with which he revives the earth after his death. After its death, not his death. That'd be crazy. After its death, and scatters therein every kind of animal, and the changing of the winds, and the clouds disposed between the sky and the earth, there are signs for a people who exercise their reason. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, in some other translations, just to kind of check this, yeah. So in all of that, where is it? Yeah, in all of it, in all the kinds of animals and the changing of the winds and the clouds, made subservient between heaven and earth, there are surely signs for a people who understand.
Some attach this verse to a specific challenge posed by idolaters who said that they wanted a sign and asked for the hill of Safa to be turned to gold, or who asked in astonishment at the monotheistic idea, how can a single God encompass all mankind? The listing of such natural phenomena and cosmic events as signs of God appears throughout the Quran, sometimes individually, but at other times in series. The element in the present verse appears elsewhere in various points. There's a bunch of points. The ships that sail upon the sea also appear at various points throughout the Quran. Ships are significant in being the only human-made items in this verse, but are so intimately connected to the natural world and so fragile in comparison with the sea that the very possibility of seafaring and the precarious nature of it are a reminder of God here. In other contexts, it's during a storm at sea that human beings are said to turn to God sincerely, only to lapse when the storm is past. Oh, no, atheists and foxholes, right?
Right, yeah. And the thing is, yeah, they're going with this, not just the foxholes thing, but they're going with the, for anyone that's looking, here's the evidence, I guess. At least that's what we're gaining from the translations. Like, if you want to, this is, 1 Peter 3:15 stuff. Here's your reason to believe. But that doesn't prove anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, continuing on with 165.
Among the people are those who set up compeers. What the hell is that?
Equals. Has the sense of competitors.
Okay, gotcha. So, okay. Peers, but compeers, but okay. That's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, never heard that word in my life.
No, that's a weird one.
Compeers.
I've heard it once.
This time.
Nope. One other time.
Oh, yeah.
When was that? Who are our compeers?
I think it's almost like a British-ish more. It's more used in that than it is in our terms. And old British, not new British.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's so
wonderful.
All right. Either way, set of compeers besides God. Yeah. Yeah, Quran, you got to be more interesting. Who set up compeers besides God, loving them as if loving God. But the faithful have a more ardent love for God, though the wrongdoers will see when they cite the punishment, that power altogether belongs to God, and that God is severe in punishment. So, while there is, there doesn't seem to be any other.
Go through the next verse because the sentence continues on through the next verse, at least according to my
does it? Yeah, it does. Well, not the sentence, but the thought continues on here. Yeah. So I'll do that. When those who were followed will disown the followers, and they will cite the punishment, while all their means of recourse will be cut off. And just do the next one. And when the followers will say, Had there been another turn for us, we would disown them as they disown us now. Thus shall God show them their deeds as regrets for themselves, and they shall not leave the fire. Okay, so now we have a few things.
Yeah, we have a lot, actually. First of all, there's something here on verse 165. Many commentators use this verse as an occasion to discuss the nature of hub, or hub, which is the word here rendered as love. The English word love has a broader range of meaning than the Arabic hub, and several Arabic concepts respond to love depending on its usage. These include Rama, most often translated as mercy or compassion, and Mawada, as in a verse describing the sentiments between spouses. The Quran, the Sunnah, and the mainstream exoteric exegetical tradition do not treat love as a technical or esoteric concept, although the Islamic intellectual, spiritual, and poetical tradition is replete with discussions of the reality and experience of love. Rather, they accept it as self-evident reality whose basic meaning is known, while acknowledging the difficulty of explaining how love, and indeed any concept ordinarily used for created objects, can correctly be applied to God. The asymmetry between God's love for humans and humans' love for God is reflected in the Quran's almost exclusive discussion of that love as originating with God, because God is unlike anything in the world. Love for him is hard to encapsulate in a definition, and the exegetes often prefer to describe it by speaking in terms of the fruits of loving God. For example, when we love someone, we long to meet them, miss them, yearn for them when they're not there, do everything we do for their sake, seek to do what makes them happy, and love what they love. These are all symptoms, as it were, of love. In the Islamic spiritual tradition, love is often spoken of in light of knowledge, which is to say that one loves God to the degree that one knows him, and vice versa. Al-Razi says, for example, that when we see the face of the beloved, we want to see the hair, which in theological terms means that even a slight familiarity with God will arouse a virtuous desire to know him even more.
That's crazy. Arouse a virtuous desire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, so they
I do think these verses are, before you get back into it, or maybe if you want to
I've
look
got
over something.
a little bit more yet.
Okay.
But those who were followed is often interpreted in verse 166.
Yeah.
Are often interpreted as leaders of idolatry. Those who followed refers to their minions and adherents, or the two phrases may refer respectively to the Satans and the human beings who followed them. And also on the next verse.
Yeah, I mean, for both of these, so initially you have, it looks like you're talking about idols themselves. And then you have the section talking about like when it says the leaders, I guess, is how it's usually interpreted, right? The people who are, or the ones who are followed. Now, there could be a few interpretations. You could have, you know how in the Bible always they anthropomorphize other gods, like as being, even though, yeah, that's right. Other gods is like being people, but like, oh, they have eyes, but they can't see. Mm-hmm. They have ears, but they can't hear, right? So if these are, so you could easily interpret this as like the leaders of individual idol cults, right? Mm-hmm. Easily. But controversial hot take, what if we're talking about the actual gods? No, that wouldn't work for them. They're always like, look at how the oneness of God. No. They're very, very monotheistic. Yeah, so we're talking about the leaders of these.
Yes. But on the fire here, Al-Tabari understands the last part to mean that their regrets and desire for another chance at life will not remove them from a fire. And for this is evidence that the disbelievers will be in the fire everlastingly.
Wait, hold on. So didn't we get a verse earlier about it not being permanent, or is that a different book I'm thinking of?
No, I think you're referring to some commentary.
I must be referring to a different book.
Like
okay.
a possible temporary.
Or I must have just been reading something else
Maybe.
entirely. But okay, so yeah, either way, this fire. No, the interpretations in some of these are very fluffy, as in, oh, this is a fire of purification or the fire of repentance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, you could call it that.
But it says they shall not leave it, so it implies permanence.
Yep.
Anyways, continue on.
All right. O mankind, eat of what is lawful and pure in the earth, and do not follow in Satan's steps. Interested to see what Satan ate.
Yeah.
He is indeed your. Well, I mean, never mind. We'll get back to it. He is indeed your manifest enemy. So
he's
I'm
often
gonna
called
finish
a
the
manifest enemy in the Quran.
Okay. He only prompts you to commit evil and indecent acts, and that you attribute to God what you do not know. So the part about eating, I would like to interpret this as maybe there's like a hint in here as to what Satan eats, but they're probably talking about the temptation of Eve, right? That's my guess.
Maybe.
And the thing is, this is already after the Christian period, so the idea that it was actually Satan would have been popular at this time.
Yeah.
Well, especially since he heard about and he already showed knowledge of the life of Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Right. Where he has Iblis in this version.
Right, yeah.
Anyways.
I'm just checking to see if doesn't look like there's any huge commentary on this.
No, not really.
Unfortunate, yeah. Because see, that part to me is already super interesting. But no, apparently some people are just fucking boring as dirt.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. When they are told, follow what God has sent down, they say, no, we will follow what we have found our fathers following. What, even if their fathers neither exercise their sorry, hold on. This is weirdly worded. What, even if their fathers neither exercised their reason nor were guided? So yeah, just like shocked. Like, what do you mean you're just going to blindly follow them?
Like, what?
Yeah. Even though a lot of this book, in order to believe it, it kind of depends on you accepting its claims at face value.
Well, that's ironic.
It does, indeed.
Especially the ones where it what's the word? Special pleading?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of special pleading going on.
Yeah.
The parable of the faithless is that of someone who shouts after that which does not hear anything. Man, none of these are great translations.
I'm just
is that of someone who shouts after that which does not hear anything except a call and cry, deaf, dumb, and blind, they do not exercise their reason.
So this verse suggests that calling to disbelievers is like calling to sheep. They hear, but only sound, not the meaning. The verse can also refer to the prayers idolaters offer to idols, which the insensate idols cannot hear. insensibility to the wisdom of revelation is described with metaphors of animals elsewhere in the Quran.
Oh, I see. This translation is actually better here. So the parable of those who disbelieve is as the parable of one who calls out to that which hears no more than a call and a cry. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, the Quran Project even adds in brackets, i.e. cattle or sheep.
Right, yeah. Makes a lot more sense.
I like how they add that directly into the verse when it's just part of their interpretation of what it means.
Sure, yeah. Although, I mean, Bible does that a bunch.
Yeah. It does.
Because like sometimes something's obscure, something's not super clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna continue on though. Oh, you who?
But my point is that it's not like a footnote. It's
it's like
directly placed into the verse.
Yeah. I know that the Bible translators also had that sometimes.
Yeah, but it's funny when it occurs.
Yeah. Gotta remember all those textual breaks.
No.
Yes, I remember textual breaks.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. What's to remember?
Yeah. Continuing on here. Oh, you who have faith, eat of the good things we have provided you, and thank God if it is Him that you worship. Well, it should be right because they have faith.
The good things are those things that God has not forbidden.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
Makes sense. He has forbidden you only carrion blood, the flesh of the swine, and that which has been offered to other than God. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to finish the verse, though. But should someone be compelled without being rebellious or transgressive, there shall be no sin upon them. God is indeed all forgiving and all merciful. Well, we already learned that's false. But second of all, the stuff about like accidentally ingesting this stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that part's at least reasonable, right? If you accidentally ingest these, you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to ingest this thing I shouldn't have.
Yeah. And there's this thing that genuine Islamophobes do, where they talk about like putting pig's grease or bacon grease or pig's blood on bullets, and
that's like, dude, calm the fuck down, man.
Yeah. And this verse absolves them of any issue with that.
Well, with that one, but they got another issue.
Then it's just disrespectful on the part of the person who does it. And also, it increases the chance of misfire, I hear.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you can clog up.
Oh, yeah.
Greasy bullets.
Yeah, I don't know shit about guns.
Yeah.
I just know pew pew.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What a great thing to know.
Indeed. This is the next verse. Indeed, those who conceal what God has sent down of the book and sell it for a paltry gain, they do not ingest into their bellies anything except fire.
So hold on.
And God, okay, fine.
Yeah, before you continue on there, they named off what I assume is like the halal rules, right?
Yeah.
Forbidden to eat carrion, blood, the flesh of swine, and what's been offered to other than God. Right.
So verse, that was 173. Okay.
Yeah. And that is not the dietary rules that are put forward in the Bible. Some of them,
yes.
Yeah. You aren't allowed to eat blood in the Bible.
Yeah.
Nor are you allowed to eat, I guess, carrion, those specific locusts, I think.
No, I think, because the thing is, the one that the translation in this, he has forbidden you only what dies of itself and blood and the flesh of swine.
Okay.
Yeah, so that which dies of itself and that which was torn by beasts was forbidden by the law of Moses. So it was blood and the flesh of swine. So yeah, you couldn't eat pigs, right? Because they had cleft hooves or something. Yeah. So it was part of that category. But then they had a whole bunch of other dietary restrictions too.
Right, but here it's very simplified.
Yeah.
Only 3 things, and
it's interesting for all the people that corrupted the Bible, they didn't feel the need to exclude the stuff like they kept pig and things that and they kept like blood, right?
Yeah.
Interesting they kept those parts.
Of course.
Yeah. Did you have another comment or should I continue?
No, continue.
Okay. But either way, indeed those who conceal what God has sent down of the book and sell it for a paltry gain, they do not ingest into their bellies anything except fire. And God shall not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor shall he purify them. And there is a painful punishment for them. Interesting. Okay. So if they...
But here, the verb zaka can mean both to purify and to deem purified.
Oh, okay. So he will... Okay, well, either way, he would either... he's not going to purify them or he won't deem them purified. Yeah, so either way. Although it is interesting that they do this kind of poetic thing, right, where you take the idea of what you should eat, and then honestly, this is kind of a biblical motif too, the eating of the scroll motif.
Mm-hmm.
So if you conceal the message in any way, or if it's corrupted, if you're hiding anything from it, then God's going to be real mad at you. Even though we learned from, I forget which book it was. Was it the Apocalypse of Paul, or was it a different one? Where he goes up and God can, God sees like all of your past actions and stuff like that. Was that the Apocalypse of Paul? Maybe it was a different text.
Something.
But yeah, he literally sees like your entire past on the day of judgment. So a little different there, because these guys, he's not even going to hear you out. Which, by the way, unfair trial.
Yeah,
Rigged.
no, completely unfair.
Yeah, absolutely rigged. So 175. They are the ones who bought error for guidance and punishment for pardon. Punishment for pardon.
Punishment at the price of forgiveness.
Okay. Sure. How patient of them to face the fire. All right, fair enough. Very specific groups. I feel like at least, error, they bought error for guidance. I feel like that one was they were trying to get guidance, but instead they erred along the way.
Yeah, here
and the same way they were trying to get pardon, but were punished.
Yeah, here the wording is sometimes different. The idea is still the same, but for some, the verse means what drove them to the deeds that brought them closer to the fire, meaning that it's not patience that helps them endure the fire, or what gives them patience in relation to the fire so that they abandon truth for falsehood. In a general sense, it can be understood as a way of saying what made them do this.
Yeah. That's a good question. Let's find out. That is so because God has sent down the book with the truth, and those who differ about the book are surely in extreme defiance. Well, now maybe. What about the guys before?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, while he's saying this, they don't know that.
It's possible that the book could refer to the Torah.
Okay, well, listen. We have to look at all the different times they say like the book, because when they're talking about confirming these things, we need to know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
So now we have to go back every single time and see, like, are they talking about the Quran, or are they talking about a specific set of texts from the Torah?
Well, that's the thing. They're never exactly clear what they're talking about at any point, which allows them a lot of wiggle room to play with.
True, yeah. So, by the way, he sent down this book with the truth, which the Torah may or may not contain somewhere in there. It depends on how much it was corrupted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those who differ about the book are surely in extreme defiance. And then one last passage here.
Yep.
And it's a surprisingly long passage.
It doesn't have much commentary.
Okay, that's something. Piety is not to turn your faces to the east or the west. Rather, piety is personified by those who have faith in God and the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets, and who give their wealth for the love of him to relatives, orphans, and the needy, and the traveler and the beggar, and for the freeing of the slaves, and maintain the prayer and give the zakat, and those who fulfill their covenants when they pledge themselves, and those who are patient in stress and distress and in the heat of battle. They are the ones who are true to their covenant, and it is they who are the God-weary. So yeah, they pay attention to God.
Yeah. And that it's essentially a mirror, right? It's flipping the previous discussion on its head, where previously we were talking about disbelievers and how awful everything is going to be for them. They're going to suffer through the fire, and the
thing is, they're just talking about piety here. They're not even talking about, like this is the stuff you necessarily have to do to get to heaven.
Well,
They're just saying this is how you be pious.
Right.
Now it has the implication.
They're painting an outline of like an idealized religious person who is contrasting now with the non-believers or the disbelievers.
Finally, we have the stuff about orphans, but I'm not seeing anything about widows.
No.
Huh. Interesting.
Don't care about them.
No, it's only one of the main focuses of the Bible.
Yeah.
But I guess, he doesn't have access to it, so.
No, he doesn't. He would have never heard the term widows and orphans.
Right, yeah.
No
one ever
but
says that.
Interesting verses today. We got to talk about some hellfire, I guess.
We did. Yeah, at least a little bit of it.
It's not super detailed. It's just kind of a threat, actually.
Yeah. As is tradition.
Would you say you enjoyed being threatened today by the Quran?
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I was, that was my response, yeah. I probably would have been threatened with hellfire today if I talked to those protesters.
Yeah,
Oof.
probably.
Yeah. So, either way, this is just a replacement for that.
Yep, it's the same thing.
It's less in your face about it, but it's still threatened with hellfire.
Mm-hmm. So you find the Quran just as legitimate as the abortion protesters on campus?
When it comes to their threatening of hellfire, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
They have the same amount of believability.
Yeah, and the same amount of threat.
Yeah.
Incredible. Hey,
make sure you buy that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Go on Patreon and maybe you'll win the shirt.
Yeah, maybe you will.
And if you don't, that sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so all the pin stuff, join the Discord. We got that. I'm going to have a suggestion for a digital version of the Quran. Well, we haven't really been looking at digital versions.
Yeah, we haven't really looked at digital anything.
There's that link you sent me.
Yeah, but that's just like outlining for verses to cover day to day.
Right. I think it is the whole Quran, though.
Maybe.
It is.
Oh.
Because whenever I'm looking at this stuff, I actually started reading. I was like, wait, these are the exact verses that we're reading.
Maybe we should pin that.
We could, yeah.
In the
we can put that in the Discord.
process.
So you guys could read along.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
I guess. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. Anyways, hey,
we will
see you on Wednesday.
The next Wednesday. Bring your pro-life protesters.
All right,
I might be out of here.
Oh, we'll see.